Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, the creator again, and basically, right off the bat, I'm gonna be discussing something. It's basically gonna be the opposite of what the last video was. You know, the last video being me talking, let's just say, not so nice things about Shallow. I mean, literally, the video is called, you know, this YouTuber called Shallow is a liar. If you guys don't know who that is, he's a YouTuber. He was with McJuggerNuggets for a little while, for a couple of days. I think maybe about a week. And basically, yeah, he was over there for a little while. And you know, let's just say that he kind of came unannounced in some ways, and kind of wreaked havoc a little bit. When literally like interrogating everybody, and I guess sort of like giving people a hard time. At least that's what he kind of did to Swift. When he interrogated him, he kind of gave him a hard time, and then he questioned Ashley's poll, and well, that type of thing. That's basically who he is. And well, I know that's starting to sound like I'm kind of hating him again. Well, I don't want to see him. I don't want to say I'm hating him. I don't really hate him. It's just I just didn't like a lot of the things that he did. I didn't like what he did basically, and the video before his recent one. So he put out a recent video, and which kind of explains a little bit more. But the video before this one, the first video the first video he came back from McJuggerNuggets' house, he seemed to be all hurt and broken and all that. He had a brace around his neck, and then he had a thing on his arm, on his hand, and all that, and yeah, and basically, and he was telling his mom how, oh, he was bad, and how he did all these things to them, and how he had all this and then he claimed that all Jesse's friends attacked him for no reason, and all that, and he basically had his mom coddle to him, and he basically had his mom believe in him. And do you know how crazy she sounded? I think some of you guys would probably agree with me that his mom sounded pretty crazy about it, just like weird, you know what I mean? And well, I mean, I guess in some ways, when you're a mom, right? Some mothers are just protective of their kids, you know what I mean? So she's obviously seems to be one of those that kind of just gives him what he wants and just protects him, even though sometimes he isn't wrong. And well, you know, basically in the video before his recent one, oh my god, he just seemed to be like all in the wrong. Like I just didn't believe in him. Like in my last video, I basically called him a liar, and I was basically insinuating, I guess, his injuries and all that, and basically the fact that he crashed in Ashley's pool and all that, and how he said it was his idea and all that, and you know what I mean. But this recent video actually kind of explains it a little bit more. The situation. In this recent video, he's actually going to sue McJuggerNuggets. And I know, right? That sounds crazy. And before seeing it, before I saw this video, I was thinking, "Are you serious right now? Like, you came into Jesse's house unannounced, and you were kind of wreaking havoc a little bit. And yeah, they might have did some things to you, but you were basically the one wreaking havoc. And so why should it even be valid? But I still think the lawsuit thing is a little bit over the top. You know what I mean? Although I guess it's a more civil way of handling things. I know that he's not just gonna let it go. But anyways, yeah. So, but he does make a lot of good points in the video, in his recent video, which is which says I'm going to sue McJuggerNuggets. In that video, he basically talks about his experience and how he didn't have such a good experience and all that, and how he just came over basically because he wanted to know who Deck Chair was and all that. And I know that the way I'm describing it isn't the best, and guys, just bear with me. I don't exactly 100% remember everything from the video. I mean, I literally have my phone on me, so I probably can look it over. But I'm just going to try to do it off the top of my head. I saw the video yesterday. I didn't see it ever since, so I'm just kind of doing this off the top of my head, so just please bear with me, guys. So, yeah, so, but basically, he just kind of he basically gives a more explanation as to why he went over to McJuggerNuggets' house, and for why he did what he did. And he kind of does explain pretty well how his experience over there wasn't the best. Well, it wasn't good at all, really. He basically, and he does make a lot of good points. Like, he talks about how basically on the day, well, there's a few other things he was talking about, but he basically kind of gives more of a reason why he went over to Jesse's house. He wanted to know the answers to who deck chair was and all that. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but then when you think about it, well, and then another thing was, well, basically, remember when he crashed into Ashley's pool? Well, in this video, in his recent video, he actually admits that he shouldn't have done that, and he even admits in the video that that he's not entirely the innocent one there, because he knew that he did some things that was wrong, that was basically wrong, and he basically even apologizes to both Ashley and Nick, for causing all that havoc, for wreaking all that havoc, and for having, and he basically apologized to Ashley for crashing into her pool, because see, apparently he didn't know that it was Ashley's pool to begin with, and I know I say apparently, like I don't believe it, but well, he says he didn't, although in the video, in the video, I think he kind of did know. It just seemed to take a lot of pride into it, and well, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to explain that too well, really. But he says that he didn't exactly 100% knew it was Ashley's pool, and that he was kind of in a moment and all that, and that he had his mind set on going over to the PA house, McJuggerNuggets Pennsylvania house, and yeah, and so he basically wreaks havoc there, and causes a fight, with other guys, and it's funny how he admits to his faults, in the video, right, in the video that in his recent video, but yet when he tells his mom, he basically tells her how they started it, how it was his idea with the pool thing, and how they were the ones that started it, and how they destroyed the pool and all that. And so I still, I'm surprised. I just don't know how he can explain that, at least, like what happened there. Like, why would you just lie to your mom? But maybe he did that. Maybe he just did that because he didn't want to get in trouble. He didn't. Maybe because the way she sounded. Maybe if he didn't lie to her, maybe she would be acting crazy the other way around. Be scolding him and all that. And in that video, when we see his dad, his dad, doesn't seem to be too crazy about it. He just tells him that it wasn't even a good idea to begin with. You know what I'm saying? With his mom, I mean, you gotta see the video to know what I'm really talking about. I'll probably put the links in the description below. But yeah, basically, my point is, he makes a lot in this last video that he made. Although he doesn't 100% explain everything, he doesn't really make up. It doesn't 100% make up for not only wreaking havoc when he was at McJuggerNuggets' house, but then lying to his parents about it. About his experience at McJuggerNuggets' house. But I would say that it makes up for at least 75%, maybe 80% of it, because he admits to his faults. He apologizes to them on camera, and it may not be face to face, but he does apologize, and he seems pretty genuine about it. In some ways, when I watched the video, I still had some disbelief. I just didn't really want to believe it. But then here's the one thing that he does point out that I can agree with. He says that Jesse doesn't give a crap about his fans. Now, that I can sort of agree. Well, I don't 100% agree with that. I mean, I don't know if it's really that far, but well, actually, before I get to that, sorry, I just now remembered something. There was also the video where Jesse decided to kick out Shallow and his friend Josh, Shallow or Riley, whatever. I don't give a crap at this point what their names are. Oops, let's knock that over. Anyways, yeah. So basically, he goes into the movie theater, into the movie theater in which the two fans are saying, Josh and Riley, and he basically wakes them up in the middle of the night while they're dead asleep, and he takes the money from he before doing so, he takes the money from them. I feel like I should discuss that after though, but he does that, and then he decides to wake them up, or one of them woke up because I guess he heard what was going on. It was kind of funny in some ways how Nick pointed the camera at Riley, and he had his eyes were just like open, and he was like, "What the hell?" And it was kind of creepy in some ways, but in some other ways it's kind of funny a little bit. But yeah, that's when Jesse decided to tell them, that their time was up and that, he wanted them out of there and all that. And here's where Jesse does something stupid. And I made this point in the last video. I didn't talk about it as much though in the last video. I was mainly talking about Shallow and how he was in the wrong. I did mention a little bit about Jesse's faults, but didn't really think about it until I saw this recent video. But you know what he does? He takes Josh's camera. Josh is Riley's friend, by the way. His YouTube channel is called Reverse Josh. He takes his camera and he breaks it. He just breaks it. That's basically it. I'm not even gonna, drag it out. He just literally takes the camera from him and breaks it. And I made this, and I saw this, and I saw this before, and I made that statement before, and I didn't look in my last video. I talked a lot about Riley, but I also didn't let Jesse go as well because he had some faults as well. But now that I saw his recent video, I'm not gonna say I hate Jesse more than that I hate Riley. I'm not even gonna say I hate them. I guess you could say that a lot of Riley's points that he made in this recent video kind of makes sense. Jesse takes your camera, breaks it, and then just kicks him out. And now, in some ways though, in his defense, in Jesse's defense, he kind of had the guy had the camera in his face, and I guess it is his house, and I guess when he just doesn't want it. Now there is another way Jesse could have handled it. He could have just taken the camera from him and turned it off, and then gave it back to him when they were gone. And he told him, if he does see it, he could have warned them at least. And now I think he has done that plenty of times. So I think Jesse has done that plenty of times. So I can sort of understand him getting frustrated. But then again, what about Jesse filming them? And this is another point that I think that Riley made is basically Jesse kind of uses them in some ways, and so I don't know if that explains everything, but now I'll try to get to the next topic if I can remember. Basically Jesse not giving a crap about his fans. They came over as fans, wanting to know answers and all that. They were excited. They liked Jesse and all that. They looked up to him, and I'm not saying that they're wrong to do so because look, I looked up to Jesse as well. I watched him since January 2015, and I know, right? Kind of specific. Was it really that long? Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy, but anyway, so I've been watching Jesse for a while, and there's been times where I wanted to see him, and let me just say that those guys had some guts. They had the guts to go over to Jesse's house, just straight up, from all the way from Florida. They live in Florida, okay? I live literally just 30 or so miles away from where Jesse lives, or at least that's from his old house, the house that Psycho Dad owns. Oh, hold on a minute. Hey guys, yeah, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. I had a phone call to take, so Anyways, so let me see if I can remember now where I left off. I mean, it was literally not that long, but Anyways, so I think I was talking about how basically Shallow made a point that Jesse doesn't care about his fans, and while I don't exactly 100% agree with that, but I do agree with it to some extent because, well, lately it does seem like Jesse is being not so brief with his fans. Look, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I honestly don't really care who Deck Chair is. It doesn't really matter to me as much as it matters to them. I mean, it probably matters more to them because they do YouTube. Well, they do their videos on Storyfire to Shallow and Josh. So I can understand them kind of making it a big deal. But you see, in my opinion, I don't really care who Deck Chair is. I mean, it would be nice to know. I mean, if I do know, here's the thing. And I know I'm getting off topic, but why does it matter who Deck Chair is? Does it really matter who Deck Chair is? What? Are they afraid that, what? Is it some, bum or something? No, and I'm sorry, I know it's a little bit of a blunt way to put it, but, what? Is Deck Chair, someone who's, I don't know, a close friend of Jesse, and Jesse doesn't particularly trust him, but inside, he wanted him to be anyway? You know what I mean? I know I'm not making sense right now, but my point is, who cares? Does it really matter who Deck Chair is? I wonder why Jesse just can't tell us who Deck Chair is. I don't know. It's just weird. Maybe Jesse could be Deck Chair. I don't know. I just don't get why it's such a big deal, honestly. I mean, maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below why it's such a big deal. Maybe it's I don't know. I don't know. You guys kind of had to help me out here, but anyway, so yeah, so now here's another thing, all right? And I know I'm switching around and all that, but here's just one thing I want to make a point of, all right? So basically, they came over to Jesse's house, expecting a lot from him, and he charges them rent. And that's something else that Riley didn't like is Jesse charging him a lot of rent. You know, one night it's like $500 and another night $600, and how he makes a point that Jesse's robbing them of their money and all that. And well, you know, that it does make sense. I mean, you know, it's clearly evident that before Jesse kicks them out of the house, he does take money from them. I don't know exactly how much. I think he said it was like 6,000 or something, or 4,000. But he basically took money from them without them knowing. But in some other ways, he probably did it because, you know, he's like in a financial issue right now. You know what I mean? You know, like he's basically in his defense, and not saying that stealing is right. It's definitely not right. I'm not definitely not suggesting that. But I'm just saying, you know, because Jesse's in a financial issue, you know, he's doing whatever he can to get money. And, you know, I don't know, like, I'm kind of just, it seems like I'm kind of rambling a little bit, you know, just kind of scrambling words and, like, different topics and all that. But it's just a lot of things that, you know, we should think about, you know what I mean? Or that, you know, basically a lot of us should just think about, because, you know, yeah, like, they basically had their hopes broken by, you know, Jesse kicking them out and all that. But then in some other ways, you know, Jesse himself is going through, like, some financial issues. You know what I mean? And so you know, I don't know. It's just, but now back to the point of, you know, Jesse not giving a crap about his fans. Yeah, you know, he basically, Shallow made a point that Jesse doesn't care about his fans, and I know I keep repeating that, but he made that point pretty evident, and you know, and I guess he basically was referring to when, you know, Jesse's not telling him who Deck Chair is, and I guess it's not being, and then he makes a point saying that Jesse's not being real. And, you know, that is something I can agree with. You know, Jesse just hasn't been real. And, you know, it's kind of hard to tell what's real and what's fake. You know, it seems to be that way. It seems to have been that way ever since the Psycho series ended. Right? And that's a long time ago. That was like 5 years ago that ended. Now, maybe not that specifically. Like, I think there were some real moments. But then there, you know, so you know Jesse's first collab series with Kid Behind the Camera and Boogie and all of them. I'm gonna get my hand away from that thing. Like I keep hitting it. I feel like it's gonna knock it over. Anyway, so remember that first collab series that Jesse had with Kid Behind the Camera and your grandpa and Boogie and all that? Well, that was just crazy. Like, we didn't know if that was real or fake. I mean, because literally after that, it happens again and again and again. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just hard to tell whether what's fake and what's real. And then, you know, then there's the Devil Inside series, the 2017 series that went on for a while. You know, and then, you know, and then after that, you know, was the Mind Virtual Escape series. And then after that was Jesse having to deal with his dad. Oh, and before that, you know, there was Jesse having to deal with his dad in 2017. You know, his dad was becoming an asshole and all that. And, you know, and then after that is Jesse doing the Devil Inside series for a little while. He did that for a couple months, several months really. And then after that, you know, they go to their trips on it, and then his dad's basically acting like an asshole again, and he acts like that, and he acts like a psycho from like I don't know, from like somewhere July 2018 to June 2019. And, you know, it's like in and out, you know what I mean? Basically my point is, like, it is hard to tell what's real and what's not. You know, like, and of course, you know, the family deaths that Jesse's been dealing with and all that. I'm sure that's real. Well, in fact, it is real with certain family members getting sick and all that, and some like even dying and all that. I know that when he does videos like that, I know that that's 100% real. But everything else, you know, it's like, you know, I don't know. I just don't know how to explain it really. Yeah. So guys, I know it seemed to be kind of just going from one topic to another, but it's just a lot of things I just thought I'd just point out, you know what I mean? You know, basically Shallow and Josh come over to Jesse's house, they expect answers from him. A lot of things happen. Shallow and Josh do crazy things. Jesse does crazy things to them. So much has happened, and then Shallow, and then Riley lies to Jesse, basically saying how, not to Jesse, to basically Riley lies to his mom, saying how they started it and how they were giving him a hard time and all that, when it was clearly evident that he was kind of the one giving a hard time. But then in this video, he actually admits to his mistake. He tells us that he didn't intend to do that, and I don't know. It's just, I guess I'm kind of confused, by the whole situation. You know what I mean? But I don't know. So basically, Jesse now has 10 days to respond, and so yesterday was the first day, and now it's going to be 9 days. And so I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know when this video is going to come out. I mean, I was able to get the last one out as soon as I could, but for this one, I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyways, yeah, lots going to go down. So we'll just have to see. Maybe big fight might break out between the two. And let me just say this. When I said that both Riley and Jesse kind of have an ego and how they're both arrogant and all that, well, I still kind of stand by that point. However, I see Riley's point more than Jesse's, because, Jesse, I haven't seen a response video for Jesse yet, so I don't know. I might be proven wrong again. But, it's just interesting. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen between the two, okay? So, yeah, anyways, yeah, so I guess that's basically all I gotta say. I'm sure there's probably more stuff I should cover. There's probably a lot of things I'm forgetting. But, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know that these videos might not be too interesting, but, I don't know, I just thought I'd just talk about it. I guess I kind of take back what I said from the last video. How I was basically a little bit too harsh on, Riley. Although a lot of things I said about him, about his injuries and all that, I don't know, I still kind of question that a little bit. But I guess, seeing him explain it more in this video, in his recent video, I guess it kind of makes more sense now. Though, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. But, yeah, so basically, in some ways, I still don't really believe Riley 100%. I would say I believe him at least 75%, maybe 80%, because he does make a lot of good points. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'm going to go now. And so, yeah, like I said, there's probably more things I should point out, but I don't think I can think of anything else, honestly. I know I can't think of anything else, honestly. I'm just kind of doing this right off the bat. So, yeah, once again, don't forget to like, subscribe. And I might do another video on this, like if I see anything else. I don't know. Probably won't, though. We'll have to see. But, yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe. And I know I keep saying that, so I'm just going to stop now, right? So, have a good one. I'm just pointing outside, just to show you guys what's happening outside. Look at that roof up there. See, it gets like that when it's like rainy and stuff. You see, it gets like more reddish when it's all rainy and stuff. Stupid camera, blurring up. Oh, you know what? You get the idea. And I was also just pointing outside just to show you guys nature and all that while I do this. You know what I mean? Kind of like one thing and then another. I don't know. Alright, well, anyways, have a good one, and yeah. Goodbye. Talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.